The Last of Us games are my favorite games ever. Every moment, every detail, every emotion is perfect. But what exactly makes them so special to me? Today, I will be talking about the first game, why it is pure perfection and a timeless classic.
We don't have to do this. You know that, right?
After all we've been through, everything that I've done, it can't be for nothing.
You will know by now what The Last of Us is, or at the very least you must have heard the name. It is engraved into gaming and pop culture as this masterpiece. The first game got adapted into an amazing HBO show a couple of years ago, and season 2 is about to air soon. This season is adapting the second game story, The Last of Us Part 2. It will also extend to a season 3. That's how big the story in this game is. So to celebrate the new season, let's start. My history with The Last of Us is a special one to me. I remember seeing the first game many times on the internet as it was the next game from the studio that made Uncharted, Naughty Dog. I love Uncharted. So naturally I was looking forward to the game. Sadly, I got the game a year late in 2014 because of school exams and finals, but I was craving it. The game got a remastered release on the PS4 and I always remember seeing this Accolades TV spot. I didn't get a PS4 until 2015, so I got the PS3 version. I still have my original 2013 PS3 copy of this game with a signature from the legendary Troy Baker. I decided to play it after having an argument with my mom. That was a big mistake because after playing 2 hours, I was bored and not into this game at all. It was devastating for me because I really wanted to love this game and I was looking forward to it so much. But I tried it a couple of days later when I was in a better mood and man, it blew my mind. I finished it after 3 days and my world changed. I couldn't believe a video game could tell a story that is better than most of the Hollywood films. That's when I realized I witnessed something special. Developed by Naughty Dog and published by PlayStation, The Last of Us is a survival game that is set in a post-apocalyptic world where it has been infected with the cordyceps fungi. The attention to detail in this game is just one of the best in the industry and it shows in its gameplay. I love playing this game, but not just for the story but for the gameplay too. It is so well crafted, so well made, and it immerses you into this world. Let's dive deep into The Last of Us. I will be cutting between the remastered and the remade versions of the game for footage, as I do not own a PS3 to capture the original footage, but the remastered one is the closest one to the original game. In the first Last of Us game, you take control of Joel for the majority of the game. The gameplay in this video game at the time to me was a revolutionary one. The way the characters moved were so realistic. The gameplay is heavy on stealth and item management. You will be crouching and making your way through grasses, abandoned buildings, enemy camps and so on. Each encounter in these areas gives the option of stealth or going all out berserk mode killing anyone you see. But the smart approach and the game's preferred way is stealth. The gameplay is so well crafted. The tension while hiding from enemies really do feel engaging and heart pounding. Joel and Ellie can sense enemies through their listening. This is how you can identify and locate where an enemy could be. At first you get a vague idea of where they are, but as you upgrade your skills, you will pinpoint these locations. Throwing bottles or bricks to lure enemies is a staple for this franchise. On the other hand, shooting your way through the levels can make you feel like a badass, but it is not advised. You can get swarmed by infected and yeah, it's not a fun time. The shooting does feel amazing. The realism and the recoil the shooting mechanics has makes this game even better. The sound design of the shooting was a highlight for me. Because it's a survival game, finding ammo can be scarce, so it should be used smartly. Crafting on the go makes this game flow so smoothly as you go in and out of action without going into a menu. Things like this is what makes this game have one of the best attention details I've ever seen. The crafting gun weapon table was bare bones in the original, but it got amazing and elevated in higher detail in Part 1 remake as you can see your character actually cleaning and tweaking weapons. You will be fighting your way through people and infected clickers. Clickers are the franchise staple enemies, but they are not the real monsters. This game shows how cruel and evil people can be in desperate situations and how they use their power in these situations to their advantage. The gameplay in the Part 1 remake is just even better as it brought everything closer to Part 2's game-changing gameplay. The gameplay, like I said, is brilliant. So how is the story and the characters? Let me tell you, they are even better. The Last of Us is a gripping, emotional journey set in a post-apocalyptic world overrun by deadly fungal infection. The story follows Joel, a hardened survivor who has lost everything, and Ellie, a 14-year-old girl who is immune to the infection. 20 years after the outbreak, and one of the most devastating things in gaming, Joel is tasked with smuggling Ellie across the country to a rebel group called the Fireflies, who believe her immunity could lead to a cure. This is the basic gist of the game, but it is more than that. The opening of this game made me cry 5 times. Once on PS3, twice on the PS4, once on PS5, and the last time was on the HBO show. Joel losing his daughter is the start of this dark path the character and the story goes on. It sets the tone and shows how ruthless this world is. Cut to 20 years later, there's a glimpse of hope, the light at the end of the tunnel for Joel after he meets Ellie. The fatherhood he tried to bury within himself naturally came out, and we got one of the best duo dynamics any characters have had in video games ever. The things those two go through was absolutely devastating, yet a joy to play and witness. I saw their chemistry grow over 4 seasons. What makes Last of Us so good is the writing. The game proved you can make a really simple story very effective if you have a good script and characters. The ending of the game with Joel killing everyone to save Ellie and his false promise has me at the edge of my seat every time I play it. The story in this game is so meticulously crafted, so well written that it captivated me and made me like every character I met. What these characters go through really stayed with me, and I applauded the developers. What pain and love does to a person is explored so thoughtfully that I haven't seen in a game before. Like I said, this game is timeless. The story is relatable, so it can be played and enjoyed anytime. People's desperation for survival and the connection they have to each other echoes our life in how we are battling this crazy world and look for our loved ones as the light at the end of a long dark tunnel. The brutal and violent nature of this game just showed how even good people can become monsters, and this was evident in the whole cannibal survival section. That part of the game is really a low for our characters and just showed how cruel and twisted people can become. The ending of the game with Joel promising to Ellie at the time for me was a devastating and a bittersweet moment. I went back and forth whether he lied or not and came into the conclusion of that he simply lied, which is what happened, but the game makes you understand why he would lie to her. The journey these two characters go through made Joel's decision even more relatable. I remember when the game ended, I was in a limbo. I didn't know how to function. I was like,
Okay.
all I was thinking about for the next month was Last of Us. Luckily I had friends who played it as well, so I could talk, but that was it. No sequel, no adaptation. It was just The Last of Us, and it was the best thing ever. The characters in this game is so complex and feel like real people that could exist in our world. Joel, portrayed by the great Troy Baker, is one of my favorite gaming characters ever. He feels like a real person. Not a hero in a heroic and charismatic way, but a person who believes what he's doing is for the better. His love and care towards Ellie grows as the story progresses, and the character development he goes through from being a person who didn't trust anyone to looking like he has found peace by the end was truly amazing to see. Joel is the best character to lead this story. Ellie, portrayed by Ashley Johnson, is the heart of this game. Her attitude towards other characters is her defense mechanism, but like Joel, it felt real. Despite growing up in a brutal world, she maintains a sense of humor, curiosity, and fierce loyalty to her loved ones. Her evolving bond with Joel throughout the story adds more emotional weight and shows her vulnerability and strength. Her immunity to the infection lingers in the background, but this point never defines her as a character and shows how three-dimensional she is. Ellie's courage and determination makes her not just a survivor, but a symbol of hope in a world that's lost so much. Joel and Ellie complement each other, and they will forever be a legendary duo in gaming. The rest of the cast is equally great. Tommy is Joel's younger brother and a former Firefly. He is the driving force for Joel as he is trying to find his brother. He represents a more hopeful, community-driven way of living. His efforts of building a stable life with his wife Maria shows what rebuilding society is possible, contrasting Joel's hardened approach to survival. Tess is Joel's partner who plays a key role early in the game. She's smart and willing to do whatever it takes to survive. Her belief in Ellie, the way it can change the world, and her final sacrifice showed her deeper desire for meaning in a world full of loss. Sarah is Joel's daughter, and although her time in the game is brief, she leaves a lasting impact. Her tragic death at the start of the story shapes Joel's entire character, making him emotionally closed off and deeply protective of Ellie. Sarah represents the life and love Joel lost, setting the emotional tone for the rest of the game. Marlene is the leader of the Fireflies and a close friend of Ellie's mother. She believes in a cause bigger than herself, finding a cure for the infection. Her character can be seen torn between personal attachment and duty, and her final choices show how far she is willing to go for what she thinks is the greater good, a decision that plays with Ellie's life. On the way, we encounter more characters that show different perspectives on how people survive. Bill is a paranoid, lone survivor who helps Joel and Ellie. Despite his rough attitude and booby-trapped town, he shows hints of vulnerability, especially through the story of his former deceased partner Frank. Bill's character highlights the loneliness and emotional toll of survival. His episode with Frank in the HBO TV show really elevated the character and made him have more depth. It is one of the changes that was done better in the TV show. Henry and Sam's story was devastating for me. They are both brothers trying to survive, much like Joel and Ellie. Henry is protective and cautious, while Sam is curious and quiet. Their tragic story is one of the most emotional parts of the game, showing how fragile hope can be and how harsh the world has become. David is one of the most unsettling characters in this game. At first, he appears as calm and helpful, but he's revealed to be manipulative and dangerous. You remember I mentioned cannibals? Yeah, David is the leader of those survivors. His interactions with Ellie are tense and disturbing, highlighting her strength and survival instincts in one of the darkest parts of the story. When I learned he was portrayed by the legendary Nolan North, I was fucking shocked.
And then, turns out that the others had been slaughtered by a crazy man.
And get this, he's a crazy man traveling with a little girl. You see, everything happens for a reason.
Lastly, the sound design in this game is just crazy. Just listen to these. I literally don't have any negatives for this game. The only nitpick would be that the AI is kinda dumb in the original game, but they fixed it for the Part 1 remake. Overall, The Last of Us is an excellent game, whichever or wherever you play it in. If you own a PS5, I highly recommend you play the remake, but playing the remaster is actually equally as good. Experiencing the original game with the older gen graphics still has a lot of nostalgia for me. The story is full of heart, and the world is harsh, but I just love being in this world. Naughty Dog's attention to detail in everything is really unmatched. The Last of Us is definitely a 10 out of 10 game for me. So, this concludes my thoughts on The Last of Us. I will be making videos on the Left Behind DLC, and of course the second game. What are your thoughts on The Last of Us? Do you think Joel's decision at the end of the game was right? Let me know down below, and I'll see everyone on the next video.